A big question that a lot of Auburn fans have is, how do these two losses this early in the season impact recruiting?
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zac Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. In this bonus episode, I spoke with Phillip Dukes of On3, Dukes the Scoop himself, over the weekend about what this means for Auburn's recruiting. Phillip Dukes of On3, Dukes the Scoop on socials. You were at the game this past weekend. You talked to a lot of the players. You talked to a lot of the recruits that were in attendance. A big narrative, question, concern among Auburn fans is, if Auburn keeps losing, what does it do to the current roster and what does it do to the recruiting class? What do you think?
I think it really tests your recruiting chops. I think when you don't have a product to sell on the field, it's really hard to get people to buy in when they don't have proof of concept. I think that there are recruits that want to feel they want to rule they want to roll Toomer's corner, and they haven't been able to. Like they want to do it after a big game. Like they don't want to just do it against New Mexico. They want to do it against an SEC team. They want to stick a finger in the face of a teammate or a cousin or somebody who thinks that Auburn is a bad place for them, that may be a fan of another team. They want to be able to brag on Auburn, and they can't. They want to wear that A. They want to wear that orange and blue and say, hey, I am a part of a championship team now. I'm part of one of the leaders of college football now. This is what my commitment has given to me. And I think at this point, it's hard to do that. So I think, in order to keep this class together, they're going to have to recruit their ass off. Like, honestly, because it don't look good on the field right now.
It doesn't look good on the field. And it's frustrating because, you hear Hugh Freeze say that he's building this program the right way. He's building it through the high school ranks and recruiting and all of that, which I think it's fine. I think it's a great plan, especially if you want to compete with your LSUs and your Georgias and your Bamas. That's what you got to do long term. But against, the mid ACC teams and against Arkansas, like, you've got a roster good enough to beat them now. And so, like, where's the belief of, okay, if you've got a better roster than other good teams, like, do we have confidence that this staff will be able to outcoach them consistently?
Bill Parcells always says you are what your record says you are. So Auburn has, I think sometimes Auburn fans, and you look at Auburn and the tradition, and you look at what it's been, and you look at potential, and you look at what it could be. But right now, that roster wasn't better than Arkansas, because if it was, the result would have been different. When you look at it and you say, okay, well, they have the potential to be better than Arkansas, and they have the potential in this guy is, and this guy runs a 4.44. Are they better football players today? And I can't honestly say that they're better football players than than Arkansas and Cal today. Can they become that? Do they have the potential to be? Yes. When you say the roster is better, do they have more high ceiling prospects? Of course. Sure. You have guys that are ready today. When you look at Arkansas's team, a lot of seniors there, a lot of guys who played a lot of football. You look along that defensive line. Landon Jackson could have went to the league last year. Cam Ball was a 2020 guy who would have begged to come to Auburn, that ended up at Arkansas and had a pretty decent game. Xavier Story was a 5-star in the 2020 class. Made a lot of plays yesterday. Looking at guys like Ryan Switzer, who came from Utah State, played a ton of football already. That's a even though it's Arkansas and a team that you probably had more than enough chances to win against, for whatever reason they pulled that game out. And I think I watched watching film and watching stuff. I watched Arkansas versus Oklahoma State. They should have beat them. They really should have beat Oklahoma State. So I think that right now, Auburn fans, you got to kind of really swallow a reality pill at this point and say, how good is this team today. Now, that question changes if you can start to build confidence and start to maybe you beat Oklahoma and people say, okay, now we've got to figure it out because you got pieces. But right now, the sum of the whole, it hasn't really been attractive when it comes to playing good football.
Yeah. I mean, if you beat Oklahoma, I think it changes this whole conversation. But that's right now, that feels like a huge if, Dukes. Yeah. So let me ask you this then, because I think the way you just stated that was great. If Arkansas is better than Auburn, if Cal's better than Auburn, like where is Auburn in the SEC? And is that spot lower than it was a year ago?
Yeah, man. I talked to a guy today that said Auburn is a bottom 2 team in the SEC right now.
Them and State, Mississippi State being the other, I assume.
Yeah, yep.
And so, like, when you look at what Hugh Freeze took over, which we all agree wasn't great, it wasn't a bottom 2 situation in the SEC. So who do you point to in that situation?
I think you point to everybody. You point to the coaches. I think you point to the players. I think I think it's really just a sum of not being on the same page when it comes to certain things. And I think that right now everybody has fault in it. Is it fixable? Absolutely. I feel like Auburn can fix this year to keep it on track from going to be a 3-9 season. You can help yourself. You can stop turning the ball over like we just talked about. You can, make more tackles. You can not blow coverages and let people run off in the secondary. You can communicate better. So there are things that can be fixed. But at this point, I mean, if you're 2-2 and you got a loss, if you lose to Arkansas right now, Arkansas is a better team than you today.
Yeah.
Now, do I think tomorrow? Maybe not. You go out here and beat Oklahoma, then it looks like more of an exception and not the norm. Looks like an anomaly. Mm-hmm. And that's what you're hoping this is. You're hoping this is an early season. So the first third of the season is over. You go 2-2. Maybe you get 2, 3-1 stretches. I don't know how that happens at this point. I've seen crazier things. Hugh Freeze, this is the time where you earn your money. You figure out a way to make an adjustment to get the most out of that quarterback position so people don't have to have all fingers pointed at a 21-year-old, 22-year-old, or 19-year-old, however old Hank Brown is, where you don't just have to point at one position and you figure out how to, if you're so talented everywhere else. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to play devil's advocate. Let's say you're right. That roster is big. All right. How do you dominate at the positions that you're so much better at that you can compensate for the deficiency that everybody says that we have at this one position? Excuse me, that Auburn has at this one position. So if the roster is that good, then you can raise the level of play around that. If that's a 10-win roster, then the quarterback, you should be able to find 6 if it's a 10-win roster. Find 6. Run the ball. You found something last year with Robbie Ashton.
Yeah, run the ball. Run the ball. I certainly think that's a big part of it.
You went 2-2 after with Cadillac Williams as an interim head coach. I mean, find a way. Cadillac, him and Will Friend at this we don't even know what the offense was. They just figured it out and they beat Texas A&M at home under the lights. You would have thought it was a Super Bowl. They found a way. And
they should have beat Mississippi State in Starkville too.
Right. They could have easily went 3-1. Yeah. So find a way. This ain't the time to start talking about what should have happened. We know you could have went and got Cam Ward. We know you could have went and got whoever. It's done, bro. That ship is sailed.
Didn't get him.
At this point in time, you got to go figure out what you're going to do to keep the wheels on the bus at this point in time. Because if not, this thing can get ugly, and I think that Hugh Freeze can figure it out.
All right, we jump into some player specifics. Naeem Offord, Deuce Knight, they were there this past weekend. They saw the disappointing loss to Arkansas. Duke spoke to both of them. What did they say? What does he think about it? That's coming up right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show is brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. FanDuel is America's #1 sports book. And look, if you check it out, you can see why. You can bet on everything. NFL fans, you can start the season big with big returns on FanDuel. So when you get in the hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more, all on the same page where you place your bets. And you can get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place that first $5 bet. Auburn just a 2.5-point dog against Oklahoma. Little interesting. Be sure to check that out. That's at FanDuel.com. Today's show is also brought to you by our friends at Game Time. Game Time has you covered with the best prices and the best ticket purchasing process out there. Got a DM from a listener. I want to give that listener a shout out. Over the weekend, he's like, they traveled into town and they did the whole like, all right, let's wait till a few minutes before the kick and get an outstanding price. Cayman DM'd us. He used the promo code Locked On College. He got $20 off his purchase. And look, he's like, hey, I fact checked you. I looked at other ticket services and Game Time was legitimately the lowest option there. So head over to the free Game Time app today, create an account, and use code Locked On College for $20 off your first purchase. Dukes, give us an update. Where are you with Naeem Offord and Auburn potentially flipping him from Ohio State?
It's gonna be rough, man. He wants to play for a win.
Yeah.
He was seeing a potential. They sold him on what can be. He wants to play for a winner. I seriously doubt he comes to the Oklahoma game. And that was the plan for him to come back-to-back weekend. So it's some other things going on. I think his brother at Makai Hughes at Tulane, I think they have a game that he may be going to that instead at this point. I think it's his birthday or something.
Got it.
But yeah, he wasn't happy when he left. I could say that I saw him, I talked to him, I talked to his dad. You know, his dad, I've been knowing his dad 20-some years, and we think he goes by Kaori. We call him Malik, man. And talking to Malik yesterday, I mean, he just shook his head. He was like, man, that's tough. Talked to Deuce Knight. Deuce Knight walking by. Deuce Knight grabs me. Deuce! He didn't look sad at all. I'll say that. Naeem Offord and Deuce Knight looked totally different. Naeem looked like he genuinely wanted to see Auburn win that game. Like, he was invested. And I think he was really disappointed. Deuce, I think, was just kind of like, Deuce is just a he's happy to be there, bro. Like, Deuce is just a happy kid. So when I talked to Deuce yesterday, it was all love. He didn't seem to be too dejected. But yeah, I think it may have hurt you with Naeem Offord a little bit. And I think Deuce sees opportunity.
Yeah. So, I mean, what do you think the latest is as far as, a timeline? Last time we talked, we both really felt that Deuce had a chance to commit. I think that was the Cal weekend, right before the Cal game where you and I spoke.
Yeah.
You still feel like Auburn is in a solid spot with Deuce despite this longer timeline and despite how the offense has looked?
I think he needs more time to think about it. I think if Auburn's 4-0 and he sees the positive trajectory, different story. I think even if Auburn smashes Arkansas yesterday, there's a different story. But I mean, it's hard, man. It's hard to recruit and you're losing on the field, man. It just is. I mean, you're not going to get guys. You're not trying to go beat. No disrespect, but you're not trying to go beat Alabama A&M, or you're not trying to go beat William and Mary or Holy Cross or anybody like that. You're trying to go beat Ohio State. Yeah. You're trying to go beat Notre Dame, and even though they lost a big game, I mean, these aren't Rudy Poo schools. So at the end of the day, you got to show something where people are going to be excited about it. And I think now we're going to see how good that staff is. We're going to see how good Hugh Freeze truly is recruiting, because if you can land a guy like Deuce Knight, I think it buys you time. And then once you truly have all of your groceries, and this is your meal that you're preparing, and you picked all the groceries, then you have a true litmus test of who you are and what you are as a head coach. And we've seen it in the past. It took time at Ole Miss, and hopefully it's the same thing, and it takes time at Auburn.
What do you think the plan is at quarterback? Do you think they go and get a portal guy this December? Or if they get Deuce, is he ready to go year one, or do they ride with Hank? I mean, what do you think?
I think it all depends on Walker White. I think if you could potentially get Walker White ready to play, he was a high 4-star guy, but they didn't even mention him playing. So I think if he develops rapidly, I saw him yesterday, big kid, big pretty joker, like as they say. I mean, like,
he looks the part. There's no question.
Yeah, man. Like, send him off the bus first. He was like, I'm casting in a role for an All-American quarterback. Walker White, he's the guy. Like, so now I think, I think it depends on how much Walker White's developed. If he develops and he think you potentially have a guy, I think you could see a battle between like a Deuce Knight type guy and Walker White next year, because both of those are your guys. A year 2 Walker White and, a guy with the potential of Deuce Knight year 1. I think you could maybe slide with that and have some more options. If you don't see that development for Walker White, you got to go get a portal guy. You cannot go in with one quarterback.
So how do you do that with Walker White in season? I mean, he's your scout team quarterback. Breeze has praised him for that. I mean, a lot of steps have to happen in order for you to do that. You got to take him off the scout team, which means are you asking Garner to run your scout team or a walk-on to run your scout team? You got to take reps away from whether it's Peyton Thorne or Hank Brown, whoever's starting, and give it to him. Like, there's just a lot that has to happen. Like, do you think that that's something that will happen over the second half of this season?
That's having a guy that talented just sitting out running a scout team is a luxury that teams that are winning have. Auburn doesn't have that luxury to sit back and just break glass in case of emergency.
Sure.
Emergency. Hit the red button, grab the hammer, break that glass, simplify the offense. If it's me, simplify the offense to a place where you can at least get him to get a carry to start to get ready. I mean, what are you waiting on? Like, I know, bring him along slowly, but if you can find a way to get this guy 5 snaps a game just to get the feel for it, maybe let him throw a pass or two. Like the things that you were giving to Hank Brown, I've seen other schools do this a lot. Why would you spend time on a guy where that, like Peyton Thorne right now, if the season gets out of hand, you got to go Walker White. Just get him ready. Let him see stuff. Let him learn from his mistakes. Give him film to learn on and say, all right, this is what I could have done differently here. I talked to Keldrick Faulk on my show, The 5-Star Flex, and he said LSU last year, his first start was the best thing that ever happened to him because he was able to catch up to the speed. Yes, it wasn't his best game, but he knew what big boy football looked like, and he was able to kind of compensate for it going forward. And it went all the way to his offseason program. He bulked up. He got as high up to 289, 288 in the spring, and right now he said he's at 269. So and you're seeing the benefits of what his mentality has morphed into based on the adversity that the LSU gave him. The LSU game gave him. So I think, man, in a minute, if you could beat Oklahoma, then no. You lose to Oklahoma, you lose another one, you end up in a 2-4. You got to go with potential because at the end of the day, what are you selling the fans? What are you selling to own the victory? What are you telling these guys? Hey, invest in this if you don't have any hope. Nobody wants to, say, I'm going to empty my pockets for this 5-7 team, and we don't even know what the future looks like at quarterback at all.
Who do you start at quarterback against Oklahoma?
Sam Jackson.
Really?
Yeah. Give him a different look. Like Robbie Ashford last year, run the ball. I mean, simplify. Give him the same package you gave Robbie Ashford last year that kept you in the game against Georgia. Give him a different look. Let them see something that they haven't seen. Nobody's expecting it. That's what I would do. I would go get Sam Jackson, bring him back to quarterback. He actually gave Auburn a few problems last year in their game. So if you can do it, I mean, at the end of the day, man, I would start Sam Jackson.
That's not the answer I was expecting. That would be dynamic. That'd be super interesting to see him roll him out there.
And the second quarterback after Sam Jackson will probably be Hank Brown.
Okay, got it. Dukes, how can people check out everything you've got going on, man?
On Twitter and Instagram at Dukes the Scoop, and make sure you subscribe on YouTube to the On3 Recruits page and the 5-Star Flex playlist.
Yes, go do it. He puts out incredible stuff. Please like the video, subscribe. We'll see you next time. This has been Locked On Auburn.